He's my awesome, amazing son called JaqJaq.
And he's... What are you? The guy who they got the clone sample from?
Yes,
Okay.
that's right. That's exactly who I am. That's right. I went to Camino, and I made sure to get a clone, an unaltered clone, just for me.
That's what you think.
That is what I think. So we're back to talk about The Mandalorian, episodes 2 and 3, because we didn't come back. We didn't come in last week because honestly, episode 2 was okay.
Not that much entertainment. Not much stuff going on.
It was okay. I mean, there were a couple of neat elements. Like, it was cool to see the Mandalorian chase after the sandcrawler. That was kind of neat.
Yeah.
It was also kind of neat when he was like, when the one guy goes,
They really hate you.
yeah, they really hate you for some reason. I might have disintegrated a couple of their friends. I mean, that was pretty cool.
They stole them off of my ship.
Yeah, right. I posted a meme that said, even in a galaxy far, far away, you can't park in the ghetto. It's just funny. But, and then there was the creature that he fought.
Well, they mentioned it in episode 3 with the...
Yeah, something horn. Like a myth horn or something. I don't know, it was something like that.
Because they wanted the egg to eat it.
They wanted the egg to have scrambled eggs. Well, actually, no, they didn't scramble them.
They didn't even cook them.
They didn't even cook them. They just ate it raw. Which actually seemed a little weird, even though I do like eggs. Ugh. The only cool thing about the fight with the creature was that we found out that little baby Yoda, or whatever we're going to call it, actually is force sensitive and was able to use the force.
Does it have a name yet?
No, haven't got a name or a name for the species yet. So that episode was kind of...
films, you have some work to do.
That episode was kind of So obviously episode 1 was like here, episode 2 was like here, and here's the bottom. And we're like, okay, it was cool.
And then put your chart back up. Put your chart back up.
Oh, right. Episode 1's here. This is the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. This is episode 2.
And then episode 3
is like way up
it
there.
might not even be on the camera.
It's way off the charts. Right, because episode 3 absolutely rocked. So, what we probably ought to say, because it's probably too late if you are already watching this and haven't watched The Mandalorian episode 1 or 2.
Which, if you haven't, why did you hit this video?
We're really sorry, but it's too late. Episode 3, we are going to spoil the heck out of.
No. We're not spoiling episode 2. You had a week to watch it at this point. That ship has sailed.
Ship is gone. Anyway, so this episode had a lot of really cool stuff in it.
Especially the ending.
My goodness, yeah, it was absolutely awesome. So, first off, he brings the asset back, and I was actually a little surprised that he turned him in. Were you? So
I figured he was going to turn it in.
To get the best car? Yeah, because the trailers did show that he had the shinier, newer armor, right? So, I mean, he had to get it somewhere, and it was probably there. But I still was kind of surprised that he turned in the little baby Yoda.
And then he went to go make himself a new set of armor.
We're going to call him Yo Babe. That's what we're going to do. We're going to call him Yo Babe.
No, we're not. No, we're not. I won't sit for this.
Somebody on Facebook called it Yiddle with an I, like little but with a Y at the beginning. Yiddle.
Okay, that's just normal.
Well, there's Yoda, Yaddle, Yidda.
But it's not going to be little for that much longer.
No, but I mean, it would be along those lines of the names in their species appear to begin with Y. I mean, we only have 2 to sample from.
Yeah, Lucasfilms, you have to get working on that.
Yeah, get working on that. We just can't call it Baby Yoda. Anyway, so he gives it over to the Werner Herzog's character, which I can't remember. I don't remember if they gave his name. And of course, the doctor guy that couldn't wait to get his hands on him.
And then he makes himself a new set of armor.
And then he brings it back to the commune, and he gets a new set of armor.
Which I remember they mentioned they're gonna make the symbol on his helmet represent the death of the animal from episode 2. But he's like, it's not
horn or something.
But it's not an honorable death because an enemy helped him on it.
Right. And then they asked, why would an enemy help? It's like, didn't know it was an enemy at the time. Or didn't, or something. But anyway. Mm-hmm. Then there was a neat thing where you learn a little bit more about Mandalorian culture with the fact that they are warriors. They do fight. But it is part of their way as a clan, that even though there's some fighting amongst themselves, that they are still courageous warriors and will stand by one another. But then he decides...
Well, first he goes back to grab up a new puck.
He goes back to Carl Weathers' character.
Which you see also got a good chunk of bounty from it.
Yes.
He got, what was it, 3 or 4 pieces? Of the medal?
Yeah, he got I think, I saw at least 2, could have been 3 or 4.
I thought I saw a third one.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch it. But definitely, he had a couple of things of
because I don't think we commented this from episode 1. He was right on the line. I don't think we ever commented like we were supposed to. He was right. We watched after we filmed it. Okay, that's enough gloating.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, hold on.
I'll block your face.
All right, maybe that's enough gloating. But I could have been wrong, but that's the way I thought the order was, and turns out
it was. Right. We literally turned off the camera, I pulled it back up, and we watched it. So he grabbed himself a new puck, and you saw it with his...
So he got himself a new bounty hunter puck.
Going after fancy new armor.
Going after a calamari.
I don't remember where it was.
Like Admiral Akbar type character.
Yeah.
On calamari. And it said it was some sort of like princess son or something. And he had to go to Aquatic Planet. But
as you see, that wasn't important.
Nope, because he immediately decides when he gets to his ship.
And sees the ball unscrew. Right,
the lever that had the top of the lever was unscrewed because the little baby Yoda wanted to play with it. And he decides he's going to go rescue the little baby Yoda. Which was a freaking amazing scene. I mean, first he blew open the hole. He comes in.
First he ripped the camera out.
Right, he ripped the front door camera out. Drew a couple of them out.
Then he blew up the front door.
Of the back door. He made his own back door.
He made his own door.
That's right.
Then he took out like 3 of them in the dark.
Yep.
Then he did that cool...
Where he shot his like grappling hook thing and pulled a stormtrooper right into his knife, which was cool. Then he had one he fired flame and roasted.
Yeah.
And then he used his whisper something. I can't remember. There were
take out like 4 of them.
It was like whisper birds or wispy birds or something. I can't remember the name of it. We gotta watch it again. But yeah, he used those to take out like 4 of them, and those were awesome.
So the guy that hired him wanted Yoda dead. The scientist wanted him alive.
Right.
So it's kind of funny when you see him with the kid, and he's like about to shoot the scientist. He's like, no, he's only alive because of me, and he left him.
Yeah, he didn't kill him. He killed everybody else, but he didn't kill him.
Except for the other guy. We never saw him.
We never saw, but everybody he came encountered with.
Yeah.
Inside of the I guess we'll call it the Imperial.
Including the drone.
The Imperial garrison.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that looked now interesting. That was reminiscent of a mind probe droid. From episode 4, yeah. So
I noticed that as well.
Yep, that was pretty cool.
So then he makes it out.
He does make it out.
And
I want to give away the one thing because I called it before it happened. The last part.
Oh, no.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and then you see everyone's bounty pucks on the Yoda going off at the same time.
Their trackers go off.
Going all off on the same time.
I think they were on him, not on the Yoda, was it? Either way, they all went off.
Well, he was carrying the Yoda, so I can see either one being true. But I think the weirdness how they all had one, and then all of a sudden came back on, I think it was the Yoda. For Yoda. That would
make sense. Right. Because they were reactivated because and he said everyone had one, so that would make sense, yeah. So it was on the Yoda and they all got reactivated at once. And then there's like the shootout, the OK Corral kind of thing where he's coming walking and he's surrounded by people from the Bounty Hunters Guild, including Carl Weathers' character, who basically gives him an opportunity to give back the Baby Yoda asset, the bounty, or else. And then he technically puts the baby in the speeder.
Keyword on technically.
JaqJaq pointed that one out. He goes, well, so what he did was he walked over towards the speeder.
Because they were like, put in the speeder and we'll negotiate the terms.
Right. And of course the speeder had a droid on it, so it was going to take off as soon as he put it in there, right? So he walks over to the speeder and then hops in it and starts shooting him, and then JaqJaq goes, Well, he technically has the baby in the speeder, right? So we should start negotiating terms.
You said nothing about him getting in the speeder.
Absolutely nothing about that,
Be
right?
more specific.
It should, he really should be. He really should be. But, so then there was a fight. He pulls out his Mandalorian disintegration rifle and starts disintegrating a couple of them.
Again, that's why I almost said Ewoks. They're not Ewoks.
The Jawas.
The Jawas were mad at him from episode 2 because he disintegrated some of them.
Poof. Poof.
Now stop stalling.
What's really kind of cool is to see this. And then, of course, it's interesting that Vader had told Boba Fett no disintegrations because Boba Fett wears Mandalorian armor, and so did Jango Fett, but neither one of them were actually Mandalorians. Mm-hmm. So that was an interesting little bit of trivia. But so
I'll let you get to the part you actually want to talk about.
Right. So he's shooting there, and I'm sitting there. I tell everybody, okay, the rest of the Mandalorians have to show up. The rest of the Mandalorians have to show up. He's outgunned. He's outmanned. I mean, even as good as he is, there's just too many of them. And then all of a sudden, you see a rocket come across, and then all the Mandalorians come out and save him. And
I just like the one that you see them two like fighting earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
He literally lands down with a minigun and tells them, "Go to the ship. We'll cover you."
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, you're gonna have to, relocate the commune." And he's like, "It is the way," which is their motto, right? It is the way. This is the way we go. This is the way we live. And that was really, really. I mean, to see all those Mandalorians fighting.
You mentioned it as well. Mandalorians stick together.
Yes. And it was Mandalorians fighting. This is the first time, and now we saw it in Star Wars. The Clone Wars, and some in Star Wars Rebels, when the Mandalorians fight, they fight, in the air as well because they use their jetpacks to their advantage. The Mandalorian, the main character, Pedro Pascal's main character, Mandalorian, doesn't have a jetpack yet. But you did get to see Mandalorians fight as Mandalorians using their jetpacks to their advantage to constantly be moving around and stuff.
I just like how at the very end of the episode, the guy that hates him flies up, gives him, and then flies away. He's like, "I gotta get me one of those."
Yes. But I just knew it. The Mandalorians had to come. I really believe, we were talking about this after the episode, I think the Mandalorians showed up not because the bounty thing went off, not because of the fight, but because they heard his disintegration rifle, which has a distinct sound, and knowing it was his, they came out to come to his rescue.
Knowing he was in trouble.
Right.
Why would he be using it if he wasn't in trouble?
He didn't use, he would use his blaster normally for most things.
He was using.
Right. He was surrounded by a ton of people.
Yeah, so he was using it at first until he basically was calling for backup.
Yeah.
And then he gets onto the ship.
And Carl Weathers' character's there.
Yeah.
Who he promptly dispatches.
Well, he's still alive.
Well, dispatches out of the ship.
He throws him off the ship.
He relocates him to a location outside of the ship. In fact, he's only alive because he had some of that Beskar armor in his pocket.
Which I think, even though there was smoke in the way, I think he fired there on purpose.
He could have.
Because why would he fire right where he knew? Because he showed him where he was hiding it. Therefore, he knew it was there.
Well, they kind of established that the two of them have had a rapport. They're not friends, but had a rapport at least. They've also established that Carl Weathers' character was going to try and do something because they didn't just fire and kill the Mandalorian and take the Baby Yoda. Mm-hmm. The Carl Weathers' character was kind of telling him, I'm the only hope that you have of getting, out of this potentially alive. So I think you're right. I think he shot there on purpose so that he didn't kill him, but got him off the ship so he could get away. And then he gave the top of the lever ball back to Yoda.
In fact, all we know, they could have talked more for all we know. They're just not showing it right now.
Yo, babe. Or Yiddle.
Again, all we know, they could have talked more, and they just didn't show it to us right now.
Right.
So for all we know, they could have discussed something on board the ship, and they made it look like he shot him off the ship to throw suspicion off.
Could have. I have a feeling that that's not the case.
Could have. We don't know.
We still don't know who Baby Yoda is.
Or the parents are.
Right. I'm still holding to your theory about their Yoda and Yaddle's love child. I like that idea. I'm holding to that. We'll see. But I can definitely say that episode 3 has blown this out of the water. It was amazing.
And you know what? There's still 5 more episodes.
5 more episodes.
No. That was 10. We only need one hand up.
Okay.
Sadly, there's not 10 more episodes.
Right. But I read on one of these, like I get these emails and stuff from blogs and whatnot, and there was one that was like a Disney Plus Insider Scoop or something like that. I don't know. It has like this really long title, and they had said that they had heard already that because of the amazing amount of people who have already been shown interest in the Mandalorian and everything, that they have already greenlighted a season 2. So I don't know.
Maybe
I did see
20 episodes.
I did see the live stream, which was pretty cool, and they did talk. They hinted at, I should say, if I went back and rewatched it, I thought they said there would be a season 2. I think they kind of hinted at it more than they actually stated. But there was some really interesting stuff in listening to all the different people talk. I'll tell you one thing. I want a call to come to Jon Favreau's office. Everyone that was on stage, from Pedro Pascal to Carl Weathers to Werner Herzog to the lady chick that we haven't. I think she might be the leader of the Mandalorians, but we haven't seen her yet. At least we haven't seen her face yet, and she's in the trailers and stuff like that.
It's the Mandalorian way not to show your face.
True.
So it makes no sense for it to be her.
Right.
But again, we don't also know if our guy is a true Mandalorian.
Oh, I think he is.
Well, because the planet that looks like in his flashback is the planet that we're on now, which is not.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that that he's not a Mandalorian. I think he's a Mandalorian.
His parents weren't wearing the armor.
No, but that doesn't mean that they were not, right? But anyway, they had those characters, and then they had some of the directors, and the guy Ludwig whatever who made the music. I actually didn't know that Bryce Dallas Howard is actually writing and directing an episode 2. But every one of them said, because they asked how they got involved, everyone said, well, I got this call to come to Jon Favreau's office, and when I came in, they had all these storyboards up, and I was just blown away. I want one of those calls. I want to come down to Jon Favreau's office and be asked to be in here somewhere, somehow.
Even if it's a guy that gets shot for like 2 seconds.
Even if it's a guy that gets shot. I can even speak Rhodian. That's Greedo's thing.
Thanks.
Duda solo, Jabawaninchi kogushani. So I can even do that. Yeah, I know. I can speak.
I have to live with him.
I can speak a little Twi'lek too. They wanawanga.
I have to live with him.
Yes, you do. You choose to. Well, actually,
like I don't have a choice.
I choose for you to live with me.
I'm like, I don't have a choice in the matter. I was born into this family.
That's right. And according to the old saying is that you better behave, because I could take you out and make another one look just like you. That was a Bill Cosby joke.
Wait. You mean there's more cloning labs? I thought I destroyed them all.
That's what you thought.
Looks like my work's not done, Ben.
So anyway, I mean, there was just so much. The thing is, there wasn't this whole span of this episode lasted 15 minutes of time, you know?
I think it was 20.
Because it was just all about his battle to save his giving up the Baby Yoda, and then the episode's titled "The Sin," and it was him giving him up. Realizes his mistake, and then goes back and gets the Baby Yoda. Now, what's going to happen now? Who knows? However, I will say in the trailer.
Wait, we know something won't happen. Star-Lord won't appear out of nowhere and help him out.
Right. He'll at least have to be called, and the rest of the Guardians will come.
Hey, and the Guardians of the Galaxy already said interdimensional travel is possible, so...
Right.
For all we know, that could actually happen. I doubt it, though. Mixing Star Wars and Marvel.
However, we did see in the trailer an episode with... Oh, dang, I just lost his name. It's like Gino... the guy from Evolution... the African-American guy from Evolution who was... we saw him as like a leader of a Death Trooper squad. and we hadn't had a reason yet to know why the Death Troopers might be coming. Now we do, right? Death Troopers might be dispatched because of the fact that he took out all those stormtroopers and took the asset that obviously the Empire or whatever fragments are aware of.
I'm not using your abbreviations.
Right, whatever fragments are around of it wanted. So that at least can lead into that. And I guess at some point...
because the guy wanted dead and he was part of the with them. So I was about to say, if they wanted it alive, they could try to make it into a Sith. Because that would be a powerful Sith.
Yeah.
But since they want it dead, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
If they wanted it alive, I could see it happening.
I think what they wanted to do was either try and clone it or somehow extract something from it.
They were saying extract it.
Yeah. But they could have been just trying to extract a blood sample, a tissue sample, a DNA to be able to clone it. Because as somebody pointed out online, the guy that was the scientist that all liked them had some sort of Camino symbol on him. So it could be that they wanted to clone him and then maybe make an army of force-sensitive characters. Or they were trying to extract something from him that they thought they could utilize to potentially help bring back the Empire, right? Because these are definitely Empire sympathetics. So we don't know what they're going to be doing, though.
They're making the third Death Star.
I was wrong on one thing, though. I thought IG-11 would show up a little bit more often and possibly get reprogrammed by the Mandalorian and kind of be like one of his partners, like one of the three amigos. Because in the pictures and the trailers, you see the Mandalorian, the lady character, which I don't know who she is yet. It's like Kara, is like her name, but we haven't seen her on screen yet that we know of, and IG-11, but
could be a different IG-11.
It could be a different IG unit, yes. But anyway,
it's IG-12 actually.
This episode, what?
It's IG-12 actually.
Well, the funny thing is with the IG units, we know IG-88 from Empire Strikes Back, and we've got IG-11 here. And one of the books that I read had an IG-44. Makes you wonder if all the IG units have to be, like 44, 55, 66 or whatever. But that may not be the case.
11.
Either way, it was a bounty hunter droid. So, but anyway, I think that's all we have to say except bring on more. We can't wait. I mean, we've got to wait in a whole nother week. Whole nother week.
So, is it time to use the time machine now?
It is time to use the time machine.
Yes. Do I skip pilot it this time?
No.
Why? Just because the one time I did, we ended up in an iceberg doesn't mean anything, and sunk the Titanic doesn't mean anything.
I think it does. I think it does. I mean, I know you're trying to say that iceberg was headed for that ship anyway, but I clearly believe that the extra weight that we had on there steered it in the direction.
You can't prove it.
Well, probably I could.
No, because you said we can't go back to events we participated in.
No. Dang it. Well, I guess we're kind of stuck there then. Yeah, if we take the time cop approach, the matter can't exist in the same spot from two different times or whatever it is, and we'd like and disappear into a blob. You haven't seen Time Cop, have you? That's the Time Cop. That's actually a pretty good movie. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Yep.
You lost me.
Yep, I did.
Hey, the Black Pearl.
What?
Right? Isn't that the Black Pearl on the TV?
Oh, yeah, we got the Roku screensaver.
I'm sorry, that was a complete, squirrel moment.
Yep.
This is what you guys tune in for me doing funny stuff.
Really? I thought they tuned in and looked at my beautiful face.
Both. They did both.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
I'm the comedic part of the group.
You're the plucky comic relief?
Yeah.
I'm just a glorified extra, Fred. Well, maybe you're the plucky comic relief. So, anyway, I don't know if I really caught a whole lot of extra Easter eggs. Obviously, we saw the best car, but we had already seen that. And we had already seen the Mandalorian clan.
You saw the helmet.
What?
The beast thing.
Yeah, you're making me yawn.
I've been yawning this entire recording. So
Yeah, I've been doing like a little bit of yawning
including too. If we put them in the bloopers. If we put them in.
We might put at the end me trying to start, and I was trying to clear my throat.
It was really.
If we do, we'll stick it at the end as like a blooper.
That's why I said we might. If not, then this part might get cut out, so you might never see it.
Gone. There were Jawas, but we saw Jawas. I'm just trying to think. There was the probe droid, the mind probe droid. That was kind of an Easter egg.
That's kind of the old Easter egg.
Which makes you wonder if that was there, were they going to try and what would they want to extract from his mind? Maybe how to use the Force.
Maybe. It's also 500 years old.
It was cool to see the Mandalorian fight, but I mean I don't know. Mandalorians. There were no. I don't think I recall any Easter eggs from there because.
No, because all their helmets were the same.
Yeah, yeah. But now, interestingly enough, with the Mandalorians that we've seen before, usually their armor is colored to their clan. This one seems to be whatever they can get their hands on. They don't seem to be. I know that there was. It
makes sense here because they're all bounty hunters, and they state only one can go up at a time.
Yeah, they stay underground, and only one goes up at a time until they all come up to help, which was really cool.
Which is why now they have to relocate.
Yeah.
Because they even make a mention. It's easy getting the medal. It's harder finding a Mandalorian.
Yeah. So, but I'm just trying to think.
Well, I guess they kind of have like a bluish tint to all their armor.
Yeah, but it's not. Usually, it's kind of a little bit more defined to their clan colors. Like sometimes the one clan. Dang it.
Oh, from Clone Wars?
Yeah, where they had the yellow helmets and the other ones had the dark blue.
Yeah, the dark
helmets
blue. I remember that.
And stuff like that. So their colored armor is usually it's personalized.
And then
but it
you
usually
have
has
the
some
red
of the
ones
clans.
from Rebels.
Yeah, but it's personalized, but it usually has some significance to their clan, like Sabine, one of my second favorite character. My first favorite character is Ahsoka Tano, then Sabine Wren.
Which one's Sabine?
The Mandalorian one.
Oh, that's the one
Ghost.
that painted her armor.
She's got her armor all painted up, and she's on the Ghost with.
We've been wielding the black lightsaber.
Yes.
Last we saw, we haven't actually finished that show.
No, she handed it off to somebody.
No, but we haven't finished the series.
Right,
though.
but the black saber, right? So I did see some interesting questions online about people. Obviously, everybody wonders about Baby Yoda. This is set after Return of the Jedi. The baby was born roughly 50 years ago.
Back at the Clone Wars,
earlier. Actually, the baby's birth is roughly the same time frame as the birth of Anakin Skywalker.
Ooh, wow, we're really old.
Yes, right. So now the only other two we've seen of the species is Yoda and Yaddle. Yoda is obviously the one that everybody knows. Yaddle was on episode 1. I think
they're like no one knows.
I think episode 1 and I think episode 2, but she was on the Jedi Council. And she was a female.
There's a handy thing called Google.
Right, and then this one. The species is unnamed intentionally by George Lucas. I do not know the reason why but he intentionally did not want the species name. So this will be the third one we've seen of that species. So that takes care of that. The other thing that, dang it, I just lost it. So there was that one. Oh, people are asking why, if it's only 10 years after Return of the Jedi or roughly 10 years after Return of the Jedi, or is it 5 years? It's 5 or 10 years after Return of the Jedi. How does the Mandalorian not know about the Force? Because he's all confused about how the baby Yoda.
Okay, well there's no good.
The baby Yoda lifts up the horned creature, and using the Force, and you got to think that while it's only been like 30-ish years since the end of the Jedi back with the order of executing the Order of 66. Also, you got to remember that this guy is probably not. He probably at best would have been a baby when those events happened. In fact, it kind of looks like during the Clone Wars is when
she appeared in Phantom Menace.
Okay, so she was only in episode 1. So I mean, right? It looks like the events that potentially happened when he was a kid was during the Clone Wars potentially, because we saw battle droids going through the thing, right? So at best, the fact is, you got to remember, Luke didn't know about the Force, right? And he had lived on Tatooine, and he was 20-something years old.
Oh, I'm gonna go to Tosche Station to pick up some power converters.
Right, and then you got to remember that Han Solo said, ancient religions. So that was another thing there, and there were a few other references to the fact that Jedis weren't no longer. I mean, like the Empire had done a pretty darn good job of not just trying to exterminate the Jedi, but trying to remove any knowledge of them as well.
And so why they would want to kill this creature.
Right. So, right. This is exactly right. So even though the Emperor's already dead, so it's plausible, especially seeing it looks like the Mandalorian has been living on the Outer Rim. He's definitely not somewhere in the core planets. So it's definitely plausible that he really hasn't heard of Jedi, really hasn't heard of the Force.
That's why he was shocked when he saw it.
That's why he was shocked and couldn't explain it. He didn't understand it, right? I think he's going to get some schooling on it. That's what I think. He's going to be pulling up.
Well, you know what?
Google.
He has a great source that's sitting right on his lap at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I don't know that source can tell him much right this minute, though.
But, give it another 50 years, it can.
That's right, 50 more years. Yeah, because Yoda supposedly started his training at the age of 100. So, yeah.
So, see? Another 50 years.
Another 50 years, and boom.
Too bad the Mandalorian might not be alive by then.
I don't know, maybe. We'll see.
That's not how old he is right now.
We'll see. When we get to episode 469.
Only 469?
I don't know, whatever. If we count each season as a year, well, it's actually the events are going by too fast to be a year, but I mean...
They're literally going,
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, it's like 1,000 out. Before even 10 years.
So anyway, those are a couple of things I've heard some people ask. And I've been asked a lot of questions. It's really kind of cool that all this knowledge that I've amassed over the years is actually coming useful for something. People asking me tons of questions about it.
You mean studying all this science fiction stuff is not useful?
No, it is useful, but it's kind of nice that it's mainstream useful. Like people in the mall want to stop me and ask me because I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt. Okay.
I was about to say
nobody in the mall has stopped me and asked me.
Wait,
but
someone has done that to me.
About Star Wars?
Yeah, actually, I get stopped all the time. Actually, not at the mall, but at school, I get stopped all the time because they all know I'm a Star Wars nerd. And they're all watching The Mandalorian. They're like, wait, what's this? I was like,
oh, yeah, well, I walk around. I don't have one on today. I have one on a Deliverance for a board game that's on its way. But
supporting Star Wars.
But yes, I do have Star Wars shirts, and I do get a lot of people go, oh, I love your shirt. Hey, I love your shirt, too. So what do you think of the new movie coming out? You think it's going to be any good? Or something like that. So I do have a lot of people who ask me questions that way.
I love the meme. Episode 9 will probably ruin your holiday. Probably goes over to buy a ticket for episode 9.
Oh, yeah. We've already bought our tickets for episode 9. We're actually going to see it twice. Because we're going with a group of guys from the church, and then we're going with the family. And tomorrow, we're going to go see Frozen 2. So we might put a video up about that, too, if it's any good.
Let the song go.
Or we might just let it go. If I wind up with a bruise, you're going to get a spanked butt. Anyway, I think that's it. I think we probably talked way more than enough. We've been a little tired, so this one hasn't been as energetic as our first one. But the Mandalorian, remember.
I didn't have an energy drink, that's why.
This is the scale.
We're
episode 1, episode 2, episode 1, episode 3.
No. Episode 3's up there.
Up there. We're only at Mandalorian with his jetpack again.
Maybe a little bit lower than that. We have to have some sort of high.
Oh, yeah. We're on the high, all right. Anyway.
Okay,
awesome episode. Check it out. If you haven't already, you should hit the little button down here that says subscribe. There's also like this bell thing that way it'll alert you every time we post videos because obviously you'd want to see those. You know what we could do? We could do this. See, like right here, if I can set it up right here, because YouTube has this thing where you can insert video links right in their
Yeah, and
studio.
then you put the channel like right here.
Yeah, channel's right there, right there. I better lean over so I could be seen. The channel's like right
Now
here.
we might be out of the shot.
It might be. And then like down here is like videos you can click on that we've been in that you're going to want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to want to do that. Besides the subscribe button that shows up somewhere.
It's down there. If it's red, you need to hit it. Trust me on this one. If it's red, you need to hit it.
Yes, because you need to be subscribed. And then like all of a sudden it'll go poof and away. Actually, I think it stays to the end of the video, doesn't it?
What?
The things when you put them, or do you get to put them on, like tell them how long to be on and stuff? I forget.
When they normally, when I'm thinking you're talking about, they will show up and at the end of the video.
Yeah, but I think they stay till the end of the video, right?
But they start like close to the end of the video.
Yeah. Anyway, it might be going while we're doing the bloopers. We'll put the bloopers on and it's going on during that point.
We might be able to cancel them out. Or we'll upload the bloopers as a separate video.
A separate video.
Where you can see me bruising up my dad. Just let it go, man. Just let it go.
It's a good thing you're cute.
You can tell we're tired. Yeah. You can tell we're tired.
He's tired. I've only gotten like a few hours sleep because I've been working. And then I still stayed up to watch
Gosh,
The Mandalorian.
this sounded like me when I was in marching band.
Marching band.
You get back, you eat, you do your homework. It's like 12 o'clock. You go to sleep. Repeat. If you're lucky on a football game, you'll get back by midnight.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Then you had the competitions the next day, so you're really not talking about you're getting any sleep until Sunday rolls around.
And then there's church.
That's
No
even if
sleep
you get,
then either.
That's even if you get back home early enough to wake up for church.
Oh, well, that's usually though that's when you're going in competitions away. But yeah. Anyway,
Sorry, I just got a random marching band.
we're gonna reel it back.
Fun,
All right,
fun thing to do.
Mandalorian, awesome. Watch it, and we'll be back with either after episode 5 with another 2-part review, or maybe after episode 4 if there's
Depends
like
on how
awesome.
much happens.
Yeah, if they do episode 4 is like episode 3, we'll be back next week. Otherwise, we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Or whenever the next interesting thing happens in the show.
Which I doubt it'll go 2 full
Well, let's
episodes.
review us. We'll be back definitely episode 8.
For sure. We're going to try and be back sooner.
We'll probably be back for Star Wars episode 9.
We will definitely be back for Star Wars episode 9.
No promises on Frozen.
Well, we might. It depends.
That's what I said. It depends. I mean, so no promises on Frozen. We might not. And then episodes really depends on how much interesting stuff goes on that we can talk about. Or we ramble on like we've been doing this episode.
Speaking of interesting things that are potentially coming, right? So on Disney
At this
Plus,
point, these things are just floating here at this point.
Disney Plus has The Mandalorian. They've also got The Clone Wars.
Up to the season 6 that Netflix had, and I'm going to be adding more to it.
Correct. I don't know when those are supposed to come, but they're coming.
I heard they're coming out next year.
All of Star Wars Rebels, all 4 seasons, and that's all that they're going to
All
have
of the
of those.
movies, but Solo and 8.
All of the movies.
But Solo and 8. Solo and 8 aren't on there.
Really? Okay.
Or at least last I checked, they weren't on there.
And they've also got coming in Obi-Wan series has been confirmed. Cassian's story. That's the guy that was helping out in Rogue One. Now, rumored to be coming is a Mara Jade series, which would be pretty cool. There was another rumor. Thrawn. There's a rumor that Thrawn season is coming. What do you call it's coming? So we're gonna have lots of Star Wars stuff to be looking at, watching that, and having fun with it.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and say goodbye.
Goodbye. Now we're gonna show the bloopers.
Oh, you want bloopers?
Is this where we're gonna make the cut for the bloopers?
Wait, do those people really want bloopers?
Wait, there's people on that thing?
There is. Look at there's there one right there. He's staring at us right there.
Hey, look, there's one guy in the back row that we kept calling out. He's back.
He's up there waving. Wave back. Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right. We'll probably stick some bloopers then for this guy that's still waiting here and watching and hasn't turned off.
Well, because he's the guy that... You remember that our first season, whenever we were like talking during the credits, we always call that one guy out in the back?
That's him.
It's still him.
Yeah.
He's always been here.
We appreciate you.
Just sticking through with us.
That's right.
Dude, no matter how much crazy stuff I do.
Now, a little bit of bloopers, which really is only like a couple seconds.
Well, now we're adding more on to
But
this.
have fun with it.
We're adding more on to this, so
All
enjoy.
right.
This might be a whole nother episode. We don't know.
All right.
Enjoy. You good? Is this gonna be our intro?
What is my motivation?
Is this the intro?
Is it?
I don't know. If it is, I'm JaqJaq. This is PaqPaq, the guy we found off the street.
No, it can't be the intro because I got a frog in my throat. Let me get a quick drink.
Can we upload this at the end of the video as bloopers?
Yeah.
Can we?
Yeah.
This is just kind of funny. That's PaqPaq dying in the background if we actually show this as a blooper at the end of the video. You good?
And just like that, I've been delivered and whatever. Okay.